Okay, welcome back to another Sabbath School. Glad you guys can join us. This is going to be over lesson number 11. It's going to be Joseph, Master of Dreams. The memory verse for this week says, actually, it's from Genesis 37:19. Let me first say that. But it says, "Then they said to one another, 'Look, this dreamer is coming.'" Again, then they said to one another, "Look, this dreamer is coming." There are three main themes that I want you to particularly see here. Number one is going to be Joseph, hated by brothers and loved by his father. The other is going to be Tamar and Judah. The other is going to be Joseph, the dream interpreter. The key thing here, though, is we really don't have time to get into Tamar and Judah, so you can read that on your own time. It really only takes up one day in the Sabbath school lesson. We're going to more focus on the other two. They just pack so much into this lesson. It's really difficult to kind of do everything justice. So you'll have to kind of look at the stories, particularly here. Now, one of the main things is when you start to talk about the brothers' hatred and also the father's love, if you think back here, the brothers don't just hate Joseph because he's more loved or more significant. What you find is that there's a lineage here. The brothers come from the line of Leah. And Leah was Jacob's other wife who for many years wasn't loved. In fact, every time she had a child, if you remember in from our previous studies, she was saying, "Now my husband would love me. Now my husband will dwell with me." Because basically Jacob always loved Rachel more than Leah, significantly more actually. And so what you have to realize is these brothers, their mom is going for so many years without being loved or feeling significant. This passes on to them, because they see how their mom is not loved, and now they see how they are not as loved as Joseph. This really gets some bitterness inside of them, and there's a lot of rage here. They don't end up striking out and doing anything to Joseph into that huge selling him into slavery until later when Jacob gives him the coat of many colors. That's a significant point. One of the things about this coat is that, at least during this cultural time, many believe that coat of many colors, if it was a coat of many colors, it was a significant coat. It was some sort of act of royalty. It's not even a coat that Joseph likely would have maybe worked on the field with. It's something that he would have likely worn off the field because it was so significant. The brothers didn't get anything like this. So this is what's kind of strange about the text. And what many people seem to suggest here is that Joseph is in some way starting to promote Jacob is in some way starting to promote Joseph above the brothers to basically give him the birthright, the inheritance. So ultimately, the brothers see that their mom's not loved, they're not loved, they don't feel significant, they feel like they're always kind of pushed aside. Joseph is more significant. Now he's coming out with all these dreams, basically showing that they're even less significant because they're bowing down to him. And all of a sudden, this guy basically gets a coat of royalty and seems like he's likely going to get the birthright and the blessing of God. And they just feel really outcast at this point. And that's what leads to this huge selling into slavery situation. And so we just want to kind of point out a couple of things here, because the brothers in some ways at least had a right or felt like they deserved something from Jacob. And here's the big question I want you to actually see here. How do you respond when someone is given something you believe you deserve? How do you respond when someone is given something you particularly believe you deserve? Maybe it's some money, maybe it's a promotion at a job or in a church or whatever it may be. You feel like you deserve something, but you're not getting it. You could just simply feel like you deserve love from a mother or father. Maybe you're a wife, maybe you're a husband, and you feel like you deserve something and you're not getting in the relationship. I know that we focus in on the story of Joseph itself and what the brothers did, but I just want to take a step back and first say, focus on the actual attitude and the mindset of the brothers, and look at what exactly they're actually feeling, and ask yourself the same question. I'm not saying you would sell somebody into slavery over it, but how do you actually respond when you actually don't get something that you particularly deserve? So the brothers sell Joseph into slavery for 20 shekels, which is basically the price of an actual young slave. And he goes basically into slavery. The route that he likely would have took down to Egypt would have taken him right back by his parents' house, likely. So you could actually imagine Joseph seeing his parents and being so close, maybe within half a mile And all of a sudden, he can't say anything or reach out to them to come save him from these people taking him down to slavery in Egypt. So he gets down to slavery, and there's a lot of situations that pop off. But this is where he's going to actually receive his gift of interpretation of dreams. Now, here's where we get to a very interesting part of the story. We're actually going to make this the profound meditation. What we find interesting about the story is that Joseph interprets the dreams of the chief butler, the chief baker, and now Pharaoh. And here's the point I want you to actually see. Isn't it interesting to you that Joseph somehow is able to interpret everyone's dream around him except his own? Isn't it interesting that Joseph is able to see how God is working in everybody's lives around him except his own? Now, they see these dreams, they don't understand them, but Joseph sees them, he understands them. He sees how God is moving all around him, but he doesn't see God moving in his own dream. And isn't that one of the significant points where you start to hit a lot of discouragement? There's something I really want to show you about this, is that oftentimes you will see the hand of God in others' lives more than you will see the hand of God in your own life. Oftentimes you'll see the hand of God in others' lives more than you'll see the hand of God in your own life. That can be a huge blessing in some ways because you're seeing how God is working around you, but it can be very discouraging because you're like, well, then why am I left out of this? Why am I like the black sheep? Why haven't, if I'm following God and I'm trying to serve, why isn't anything happening to me? And this is something Joseph likely could have struggled with very much for years. This is how long this went on. So what does he particularly do in the midst of these things? Well, he does something very interesting. He starts to kind of realize that, you know what? I don't see God working in my own life, but I'll assist people in whatever God is working in their life. He assists people in interpreting their dreams. He sees how God is working in the butler's life and tells him what the interpretation is. He sees how God is working in the baker's life. I forgot the other guy. And basically helps him out also there. He sees how God is working in Pharaoh's life, and he also helps him out there. And the point is this: when you don't see God working in your life, who do you help? What you may find is that if you go and help someone in their life, you'll find a principle here. Oftentimes your blessings will come out of what you do for others. Joseph actually ended up getting his opportunity to get out of prison and to become significant in Pharaoh's eyes because he actually went around and helped others around him. He basically set himself up for a blessing that happened later on in his life. That butler that came out of prison remembered him when a situation pops off and Pharaoh needs someone. He now remembers how he was assisted by Joseph. If Joseph never did the daily assisting and serving others, he would have never been in a position to actually help out Pharaoh. So the big question to you is, again, what are you doing to assist and help out others in their lives when you don't see God working in your own life? I'm Oswald, and this is Profound Meditations Sabbath School Summary.